What up? It's Gamer 26A. Back again with another drama video for Stormgate. Big drama in the Stormgate community. No, I'm just here to talk about the new update, the 1.0.1 update. It's the first quote-unquote major update for the game since its launch just over a month ago now, and I have some thoughts, and not just about the update, but also about the larger game itself and the direction I think it's taking. And this could be the last update I do about it, because I don't want to get into the trend of talking shit essentially. But there are worries on my end about the direction the game is going. And anyway, let's just talk about the update. There wasn't really one, if we're being honest with ourselves. The update was mostly graphical in nature. It was just a lighting pass and slight terrain improvements that I didn't even notice until I saw the screenshot. And the big one, which was Amara looks like an actual human person now. That is the biggest one. I feel like that was also something they had before the early access released, which is something I will get to. But it looks good. She looks good as a character now, because she actually looks like one, rather than whatever she was in the first pass of the game. Anyway, they fixed that, and they added in some like other stuff like hotkeys and like replay mode stuff, which is to me not as important. I still think there are issues with the game outside of those which need to be advertised or looked upon, but that is something that they could push out very quickly and get going without spending too much time. And I think the expectation is that the future updates, when they've had a couple more months to work on them and to continue improvements, they'll be more substantial. The October one is looking to be one that will increase substantial elements in the campaigns and within the actual game modes itself that will make it a truer experience than what it will be upon the official launch. Which yeah, I mean, like, this update itself, it's come out right alongside the PS5 Pro release and the Horizon Zero Dawn remaster, and I can't help but feel like it's that level of improvement. There isn't really much graphical improvement, but they're touting it as this graphics update, and the only place you can see it is in the character's face and proportions of the body, and it's like, that's not really a graphical update, that's just a model update. So this update was very underwhelming to me. I did notice when I was playing some balance changes, but I feel like that was like pre-patch things that they did, not actually part of the 0.1 update itself. And also, that kind of thing just happens ambiently through a lot of games anyway, especially with RTS. Like, they patch in and balance the game constantly, even after they've stopped active development of new units. Like, that's not something to me that is to be touted upon as a meaningful update to an early access game. This is just a very underwhelming first update. And I think that's simply because they had to get something out to stop the wave of reviews that were trashing them, because Stormgate is sitting on mixed right now. And if you've ever heard an indie developer or any game developer on Steam talk about reviews, they say a negative review really hurts a game, and how it spreads across the platform. And I think that's what this update was for more than anything. Like, it was to stop that flow of negative reviews coming in, because this early access, from my perspective, is a failure for them. There is no goodwill anymore. There was a lot of goodwill before the game came out, and during the demo modes, I remember having access to a lot of their pre-release demo weeks, because I supported them on the Kickstarters, and I remember seeing a lot of goodwill in the way that, oh, these things will be fixed, this will be fixed, the game is playing fun, but there are slight issues. And now I feel like with the early access release, that there was the idea that there would be a bigger leap forward than what was done from the demos, and I don't think that was there. Mixed in with the quite disastrous campaign and the cinematics, and I want to say the lackluster story and slightly flat voice acting, it's for me at least, it's lost a lot of the good faith I gave it, alongside some awful choices with the store and the monetization. And I feel like we're getting to a point now where it's going to be update by update. I was looking at the SteamDB charts, and it was really bad. The peak was when it first came out still, which sure is with a lot of games, but with a game like Stormgate, you don't want to be seeing only a sub 5,000 peak from people playing, and then now we're seeing a height of a 24-hour height of about 300, 400 people, which, especially since the game is going so heavily on multiplayer, it's not something you want to see. You want to be seeing a community that isn't just going to be the hardcore players, but the casual players, because the casual players can't go to play it for the story and the campaign, because that's simply not there right now. There's a chapter 0 that is essentially tutorial, and if you've bought and paid for the chapter 1 experience, that's 3 extra chapters or 3 extra missions, and that's just not feasible. You'll get maybe 4 or 5 hours out of that if you're really stretching it, and you lose once or twice and you play it on the harder difficulties. Like, that's not much, and I feel like the versus mode is just not feasible with that low of a player count. The co-op mode could be, because it's free to play. You could easily get a friend or 2 in to play the co-op mode. I played it. I was having some fun with it. It was surprisingly quite fun, oddly enough. But I really would have liked it if there was a visible way to play with friends, because I could have brought in a few friends that aren't massive about RTSs, but would be like, oh yeah, sure, let's have a little play of this, and played this co-op mode. It's simple. There seems to be only 1 mission with the ion cannon so far, but it was a nice 20-30 minutes, and I could see that going forward being a staple of the game. I don't think it's there right now, but I could see it being a staple. The issue with that itself is that is where a lot of the monetization is as well. As far as I can see, I haven't played the versus mode, so I haven't got ranked, so I haven't got that ability to customize if that is there. But the co-op mode seems to be where the customization comes in, and the fog of war, and the pets, and what heroes you have available. So there was a lot of backlash. If you can't remember, or if you need a refresher, there was a lot of backlash to the fact that on day 1, on launching, people who spent £80, £90 or dollars didn't have access to all of the stuff available, which is why we got the new hero for free, because people weren't happy about it. I wasn't happy about it. I think it's very cheeky, if not downright unethical, to have microtransactions in an early access game, especially when these are heroes that could have higher powers or better powers to help easily make a co-op mission or a versus level go more in their favor. I think that is, it feels like a slippery slope, and it's something that feels bad to see in a game that I want to succeed, because it makes me go, ugh, you can't, especially since they're not cheap either. They're like $8.99, aren't they? Like, they're fairly expensive. They're not even in like a fake currency. They're in just actual money to buy, which makes it seem even more. I don't understand what the thought behind that is, especially since in early access there's currently no battle passes or incentive to keep playing, and doing co-op modes, doing missions, playing versus, doing custom modes, and grinding out or ranking out cosmetics on these season passes or battle passes. Maybe they will come later on with chapter 2s and chapter 3s of the story. I feel like heroes and chapters should be bundled together rather than anything else. I don't know why they're releasing heroes on their own. To me, that feels less like, oh, here's a cool new hero you can have to play, and more like, we need the money really badly, and can you please buy this hero that you have no attachment to, that you have no idea what their role is within the story or what their personality is, but we need the money, so buy this hero for the co-op mode. And I don't see how that helps them build a healthy community. I think that, in fact, it creates an environment in a community that puts money and prestige above collaboration and talent. And I think with their focus on esports and tournaments and competitive play, there is a desire to use that and monetize that in a way that games like Dota do and League of Legends. And I feel that's really toxic. All of those communities are very toxic, and I feel that doesn't set a good standard or a good level of entry to something for Stormgate, because you don't want that toxicity within a community. You want to create a healthy community that can talk with each other and share tactics and metas without having the worry of saying, oh, well, if you just spend $8.99 to buy Blorgo the Giant, then you'll get this ability that just completely invalidates X unit that is overpowered. I feel bad about it, and I'm really against it. And it, to me, especially considering that along their roadmap, a lot of their roadmaps also include new heroes, new skins, new ideas, new game modes, and it's like you don't. So I would like you to stop adding stuff and start polishing the stuff that you already have, because the experience that you already have is fun, but it's weak. And it doesn't make me want to spend more time in the game. It makes me want to cry because it's unsatisfying to see and to play when you go into a store and the first thing you see is, oh, here's a $4.49 chicken. Like, no, I don't want to see that. I don't want that to be something that you're promoting. I don't want that to be the environment you're creating. I saw on Discord they just promoted the brand new pet to the Stormgate universe, and I'm like, you don't have the brand recognition to be throwing around these words. If this was Starcraft and we had Sarah Kerrigan as a hero character for co-op mode, and you introduced a Zerg as a little pet you can have, and then you gave it a name like Zoblin or Zorgo, and you can, oh, here's Zorgo the Zergling to have as your little pet with Kerrigan or with Reyna or with anyone, people would be like, oh, that's cool, Zorgo, I like Zorgo, this new little fun little character in the Starcraft guy. Like, I could see that, but for Stormgate, which is a universe that has just been born, and is, I don't want to say derivative, but is generic, you can't have these kinds of lazy, exploitative monetization, because it devalues not just the universe you're creating, but the value of everything else people are putting their time into. If this customizable pet system was through, a system of achievements, or through a battle pass that you spend $10.99 on, and then you have 10 ranks, and this little pet was rank 2, and you have to play like 5 games and win 2 of them to get them, then yeah, I could see that being a bit more collaborative and a bit more indicative into creating a healthier community. But with this, it just sounds like a slap to the face and a give me your money. And I think that's where I've been struggling with creating a reaction to this, because the update itself is only secondary in my mind to worries about how not just the game but the community around it is going to form. I'm worried that speaking out with criticism against it is going to be met by the community with like scorn and hate, because they've spent so much money and they've sunk so much into it that they can't see that they're being exploited. But on the other hand, I do like the game, and I'm liking how they've overhauled Amara and the character. She looks more like a human. She has this feeling less of a cartoon character and more of just a stylized character now. And the art style, it does grate on me a little bit in some parts, but I could see it evolving over the early access period into something that I could genuinely enjoy looking at. I know a lot of people, I remember in the comments of my last video, a lot of people were angry and annoyed with how the game looked, and I agreed with them to some extent, but not to the fact that I do think there are improvements that could make these characters work within a very simplified background. But I can't support it if the game is gonna monetize the hell out of it and just completely ignore all the ways that the game industry has evolved in creating systems of cosmetic purchasing. We moved past single buy purchases for stuff like heroes and skins years ago. We're in the battle pass era now. People, I quite like the battle pass because you buy it and then you get rewards for just playing the game, and there doesn't seem to be that reward for playing the game right now. There just seems to be the reward for paying, and I really hate that, and it really grates on me, and I wish the game would stop it and not do that in the future, especially with the October update coming around the corner, and they're saying they're going to add new skins in and new heroes and a new game mode, and And I was sitting there looking at it just after playing and enjoying the game, and I was thinking, this is the death knell for me. If they continue along this line, if these skins are costing $3.99, $4.99, if these heroes are costing $8.99 with every purchase, I'm not buying that. And I don't think anyone in their right mind should. These things shouldn't be purchasing one off the bat. They should be part of experiences that you play and unlock over time. And it saddens me a little bit because because you can tell I've been struggling with how to word it because I was playing the game and I was having fun with it. It's just like, I found out how to play on my own against a bot in a scenario on the co-op, and I could finally load into the custom game modes and be able to play with a bot on there. It just feels like it's always one step away from just being good enough, but then with every step it takes, it moves a step further back. And it's just, it frustrates the hell out of me, and I just wish I don't know how to word it or to fix it, because the updates themselves that I've been seeing aren't adding anything of value for me as a player. They're only adding things of value to them, and I do question if this is because they need a return on investment. There is a lot of money behind this game. There is a lot of money riding on this game, and they didn't get the positive reviews that they probably wanted, and the backlash has been quite substantial. They're bringing forward model changes and campaign improvements much earlier in development than they thought they would, and I do wonder if this has pushed back things like their battle pass system, like improvements to their multiplayer and adding new game modes in with versus AI, because they're working on doing their big co-op mode first. And are there enough people out there that would like to do co-op mode? It feels like too much of an in-between between single player and multiplayer, to the point where single player players would just prefer to play a single player game, and multiplayer players would prefer to just have that more hardcore player versus player experience. That 3 versus 3 to me doesn't feel like an evolution of the RTS genre. It feels like a gimmick, and this game is currently running off too many gimmicks for me to be able to confidently say it's going in the right direction. In fact, I feel like it's going in the wrong direction, and it's going to need something major to bring my faith back into it. I don't think I'm going to play the next update. I think I'll probably check what's going on in 2025. I don't think it will launch next year. I don't think they'll have made enough improvements, and I think when it does launch, people will still be saying the developers abandoned this game, or they're just pushing out so they can move on to the next one. The kind of classic early access game that died in early access, but they have to keep working on it enough to be able to make it past that release line, so then they can write it off and move on to something else. I don't want that to happen. I would like Stormgate to be a success. But as of right now, as of the state of the game past the first major update, where there was nothing substantial, it does feel like this game is on the decline already. And that's sad.
Insufficient supply.
Ugh. Okay, that's me.
Supply.
This is like the 9th time I tried to record this, so hopefully that one worked out better than the other ones. If you like this, maybe subscribe. I'm thinking of doing some other strategy games. Civ 7 is coming out next year, so I'm definitely going to be covering that. And I'm going to be looking into some other comments from other strategy games, because I really need it. So I saw they're putting Starcraft Remastered on the Game Pass, so I might get that for a month and play a bit of Starcraft Remastered. Because I never played the first Starcraft. I'm too young to have done that. Starcraft 2, loved it. Original Starcraft, I need to check it out to see what's going on. But yeah, what do they like all the fucking stupid YouTubers say? Like and subscribe and ding the bell, and like, isn't there like a hype feature now? Hype this video, and like share this on all of the social medias, and comment and tell me what feature of Stormgate you hated the most, and why is it the art style always? Yeah, thanks, I guess. I'll see you for the next time I complain about how Stormgate is manipulating and exploiting its player base. Bye-bye.